It's always quite good to have a, shall we say, different point of view when it comes to Brexit. And we've done that on quite a few occasions, especially with papers from the Republic of Ireland, very, very obviously focused on the issues around the border. We've done a couple of things from like the Netherlands about obviously the increase in warehouse space for British companies because they want access to European markets, so they want their goods in those warehouses so they can send them to their clients a lot more easier. And of course, we've talked about obviously France massively benefiting from obviously the movals of the bankers from London. Frankfurt, Amsterdam have also benefited as well from these. These of very often stories go very much underreported in the UK because even a lot of like the pro Brexit press do not want to really talk about it because they were ultimately really the cheerleaders of this. So as we've said before, you've very often had papers like the Daily Express, probably the number one champion for Brexit cheerleading. If a negative story they ever print like a negative story, down below it are fluff pieces trying to essentially reassure their readers that actually everything is okay and everything's fine. That's how the pro Brexit media likes to cover Brexit. We've seen very recently, of course, not only the Times, they've been doing a couple of very, very negative pieces about Brexit, but it's from the point of view that, you're not doing Brexit properly, type of rhetoric that we've again heard before. But this one comes directly from Germany, and it is a comment from the German Chamber of Commerce. I forget the technical term, but obviously everyone knows the Chamber of Commerce here in the UK. Their version of it, and they're worried about not only the future of German businesses here in the UK, but other European businesses in here as well. So let's get on to see what they had to say about all this, because unfortunately, none of this is good. If these European companies and German businesses are starting to reconsider their future here in the UK, that's going to lead to job losses. And it could lead to some major job losses. Because if you think about, again, my town of Barnsley, if a company loses about 200 to 300 jobs, that's a very, very significant amount of jobs that the economy, our local economy, has to try and absorb, and it's not always possible to accommodate all those job losses at once. And again, 200 jobs, that's quite a lot for, again, a small town, quite a large town like my own. So let's go diving into this one, and we'll find out more about what's going on here. But before we do that, please do remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you are new for more videos about not only stuff going on in the UK, but Brexit as well. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And of course, the YouTube memberships are open as well. So thank you very much to all those people who do support, again, with the links down below, or you just click the like and share buttons. Like I say, every little helps. So today's article comes from the Berliner Morgenpost. Hopefully my German pronunciation there is still on track. With the title of Brexit, Trade with Great Britain continues to shrink. Berlin. The German economy is concerned about the dispute over the Brexit controls in Northern Ireland. From the viewpoint of the German economy, it is worrying that the exit agreement, including the Northern Ireland Protocol, has been repeatedly called into question by Great Britain since Brexit was completed, said Martin Welshburn, the chief executive of the Association of the German Chambers of Industry and Commerce, or the DIHK. To our editors, he said, "This also makes the entire UK business now less secure for German and European companies." Northern Ireland surprisingly announced on Wednesday that it would try and suspend controls on goods from Great Britain. London backed it, and the EU called on Britain to stick to its international commitments. And on Friday, a court in Belfast temporarily stopped the advance. The DIHK boss, Welfbashen, emphasised that the EU should continue to act resolutely and stand up for its European economic interests. British plans to deviate from the EU rules and standards, for example, in data protection, food, or chemicals, also increases the transition costs for German companies in the UK businesses, he said. German companies currently employ over 400,000 people in the UK. In the view of that close network of both the economy on both sides of the English Channel, a positive future agenda for the European Union and Great Britain is urgently needed for these companies. For example, German companies have at least over 2,500 branches with over 4,000 employees in Great Britain alone. British companies have at least 1,500 branches in Germany with around 300,000 employees. This is how the Brexit chaos has hit German companies. So, according to the DHK, the uncertainty that has persisted since the Brexit referendum in 2016 is recently and steadily declining the trade volume. Since then, the United Kingdom has slipped from 5th place to currently 10th place among its most important trading partners. A year after Brexit, the UK is still in hangover mood. Despite the deployment of the existing challenges, the DHK expects a further decline in imports and exports for the current year of 2022, said Wasbassen. Then the United Kingdom could even drop out of the top 10 of the list of Germany's most important trading partners. The volume of trade between the Federal Republic of Germany and Great Britain peaked, of course, back in 2015, a year before the Brexit vote, and the countries exchanged goods worth at least 127.4 billion euros, according to the DHK. And the trade volume in 2021 could very well fall below the 100 billion euro threshold for the first time in 10 years. And 70 years ago, in 1952, the year of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, the trade volume was around 760 million euros. So, as you can see, this is going to have some very, very big economic consequences here in the UK. And we've already said this. I don't know. We've been saying it for the past 4 years what the economic consequences of Brexit were going to be. They were never, ever going to be good. And now you've got German companies and European companies questioning their future in the UK. That is not going to be good. And not only that, but if you are trying to attract outside investment, then and you want to be in Europe, then the UK is no longer an attractive option because we're no longer in the European single market customs union. We're no longer in the EU. That makes the UK a far, far less attractive opportunity for companies. We've seen the case with obviously scientists trying to, attract scientists over here to the Bell program, I think it was called. No one applied. No, there was not one single application. So the unfortunate future of the UK economically is not going to look good, especially when we're having to deal with, again, rising inflation, as was said just very recently. We've had 3% inflation, nothing to do with us, but to do with the outside forces of Brexit and what happened around Brexit. That is out of our control. So currently, we are what, 5, 6, 7% of inflation. Around 3% of that is due to Brexit itself. The outcome for this and Brexit is not looking good. And as we've been reporting a lot before, there is some really, really high anxiety among the Brexiteers because they are so worried. Remember, this is their precious project. They've spent 40 years trying to escape the clutches of the EU. And what happens? The second they escape, the British economy tanks completely. Or is at least in the process of doing that. Now, of course, somebody's going to repeat, oh, well, Boris Johnson says, we're one of the highest growers in the G7. The reason why we are one of the highest growers currently G7, first of all, those numbers are incredibly cherry-picked, only if you choose sort of the last quarter. Not only that, again, because of the recession caused by the coronavirus, we were minus 21%, I believe, we lost from our economy. That was about 10 years worth of growth gone almost in a single day. The next lowest economy, by the way, I think was Spain or Portugal, I think, affected. They were only about 12%. So there is a massive gap between us and what happened to the rest. So when you get normal back economic activity when you've been down in the doldrums that far. Having any positive, economic activity is a sort of a massive boon when you've been down that low. You might be at minus 100 and you might get plus 100 growth, but you're still at zero growth. So that's the massive problem that we are seeing here in the UK at the moment. And of course, that's what Boris Johnson is crowing about when he says, well, we're one of the fastest growing economies in the G7. That's literally currently what's going on at the moment. And it's sort of kind of shocking, of course. But of course, we've got problems as well. How long is Boris going to survive? Is this merely the end of the beginning, or is it the beginning of the end of Boris Johnson's long, shall we say, exit out of the number 10 office? We'll definitely have to see, of course. Obviously, rumours again flying about that maybe more letters may have gone to the 1922 committee, of course, potentially this morning. We'll have to see how that all plays out if that happens again. And of course, my comments about that. But of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all again soon, hopefully. Probably, later on today or tomorrow, in fact. And of course, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all